I'm Jamie, and welcome to Sci-Fi-Vision for October 19th. Tonight is the season finale. We're going to be talking about the season finale of Daryl Dixon, which is called, I had to look, Solaz de Mar. Hey, B, welcome. But thank everybody for coming. Yeah, like I said, we talk about the season finale, and I don't know, probably a bit about, I guess, the season on a whole at the end of it. But yeah, I guess this is the last episode of this edition for a while. We do, of course, have Fandom access every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, where this week we'll be wrapping up Wayward, and you guys have Invasion. I don't know if we're doing, we hadn't discussed if we were doing Last Frontier again or not. But yeah, some stuff.
And the Diplomat.
And the Diplomat, you guys have the Diplomat, yeah. We're also going to be starting Talamasca next week. We don't have a day specified yet because we need to figure out when we're going to do it. But just make sure you guys check Discord or YouTube for the schedule when that will start. But that'll be Karen and I, and Scarlett will be starting that next week. So, and we'll have a watch party. So yeah, check all that out. And yeah, it's been kind of slow, so we need to get some more live streams in here.
I think Talamasca's going to air on Sundays, right? But they just showed like almost the whole episode tonight. Like after Daryl Dixon, they showed like I think pretty much the whole first episode.
I wasn't sure. I know I said that's what it sounded like, but I hadn't checked
yet. It ran over an hour. I mean, I've seen it before. I had watched that because I forget why. I guess I was doing something for them. But I can't really remember, right? I'm definitely going to watch the show.
Yeah, but it's probably the whole episode. But yeah, I mean, we could do what we do, on Sundays maybe, and do it right after, or we could do sometime later in the week. We'll have to all discuss it. But
okay.
But yeah, just check out Discord, and you can get that schedule once we post it. And make sure that if you aren't a member of Discord, you join it. The link's in the chat, and please like Sci-Fi-Vision and subscribe. And check out all our interviews on the video tab, all that good stuff. There's a lot more stuff coming, and yeah, it's just been slow stream-wise, but been busy with interviews though, so lots of good stuff will be posted soon. So, all righty, well, so this one is, like I said, was called Solaz de Mar, which I assume maybe that's like the full title of the place. I don't know, because it's called Solaz. I don't know I'm not sure exactly what de Mar is in Spanish.
It means something. It means by the sea, I think.
Oh, the whole thing means by the sea. Okay, well, that might be maybe the full. I figure is the full title of the
town. Yeah.
But so yeah. So what did you think of this as a season finale? I didn't love it as a season finale. I'll just say that. But how did you feel about it?
I didn't love it either as a season finale because it almost feels more like. We know the next season is going to be set in France, and it almost feels like just like a long hiatus in the middle of a season maybe is happening because it wasn't like a really dramatic cliffhanger, right? And it wasn't like a real resolution. Like when we left France at the end of last season, it sort of resolved like Daryl's whole relationship with Isabel. Well, she died.
It's going to be in Spain, though, not France. You said France.
Oh, I meant Spain. I meant Spain. I'm sorry, but like it didn't really feel like big resolution of issues or feelings or like a real cliffhanger, right? It was just kind of like so. As a
it was like sort of a cliffhanger. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that they should have either ended the season or made a true cliffhanger. It kind of hovers somewhere in between, and it feels to me almost like they must have just filmed them all together and just split it. It doesn't feel like a season finale at all, and I think that's my biggest problem. Look, I've said before, there are things about this season that I like. We got that one Western type episode that was really good, but some of it has been, it feels like it's felt like a lot of filler we didn't need, but yet it feels like maybe some stuff that would have been beneficial, we like more backstory to care about the characters a little more, we didn't get. Because I know you were saying in the chat earlier, like, we've been with these people for a while, but do you really care a whole lot about them? Maybe not. So yeah, I don't totally love the season on a whole, but it hasn't been bad or anything. There's been things I like, but for a season finale, wasn't real great.
Yeah. I mean, so B, you see B's comment, B has a slightly
yeah. Says I was worried it'd be an annoying cliffhanger. I'm glad it was in between. I know I'm probably in the minority. I would have preferred there just to not be any cliffhanger. I think they should have just ended it like right before the boat blew up, in my opinion. I don't really need a cliffhanger. I know I think you like cliffhangers more than I do. I don't love cliffhangers to begin with, but I don't know. It was just weird for an ending, though, to me, to end the season that way.
I don't mind a cliffhanger sometimes. I do feel like TV's gotten away from cliffhangers. Like, I feel like 20 years ago, every show, season finale was like a major cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And some were great. Like, one of the greatest cliffhangers ever is like that first season of Lost with the hatch, right?
Yeah.
Or like Who Shot JR, I guess, was like but shows used to be like that all the time, and they're getting a little away from it. I'm thinking of last season, The Diplomat, where, I mean, I shouldn't even say it, it's a big spoiler, but yeah, this was like minor cliffhanger. Okay, the boat blew up, and we know they're gonna look for another boat, right? It's not like, I guess I agree. It's better than like a cliffhanger where like Daryl is shot and you don't know if he lives until the next season. That's a very like 80s and 90s kind of cliffhanger, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, as long as it's not that, I'm okay, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just felt I felt like the finale was very underwhelming. Like, there were things I liked about it. Like, I liked, although it was kind of what they did before with the musicians in the stage in France, but not France, in Dead City. But I did like the marionette walkers because it was different. It was kind of silly, but it was different. I liked that. But yeah, a lot of it just, it didn't feel, like I said, it was a little underwhelming. And even, I mean, a lot of people died when they had the rescue, but the rescue to me wasn't super exciting. I'm not even sure what it is about it that it wasn't as exciting as I expected it to be. I don't know. And I like you said earlier in the chat, part of it is I don't know how much I care about the people they rescued. I mean, Justina, I guess I cared that she was rescued, but like, they rescued other girls and they didn't even bother telling the people of the town, oh yeah, by the way, we got some of your daughters safe. Like, they didn't even tell anybody.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think that rescue was a little underwhelming because, like, I don't want to say I don't care about Elena, but we met Elena once for like 5 minutes in an early episode, right? Like rescuing Elena was not my top 5 list of things that had to happen this season, right? And Paz is like, okay, but like for Paz to have her true love back is nice, but also not on my top 5 list maybe of things. So that rescue, and I guess like we're beyond having any fear that Daryl will have a scratch on him in any of this, right? So I mean, that makes that leads to some drop out of it.
I'm okay with that part. I just would have liked to have seen, I don't know. I'm not honestly sure what they could have done because I mean, there was lots of deaths. A lot of people died and it was a rescue. Something about it wasn't as, I don't know. It just felt like a little, like I said, it was a little bit of a letdown, I guess, of what I expected. I'm just not sure what I expected.
I mean, in the very brief moments we had with the Spanish royal court, I did come to hate them and feel satisfaction in their death. But I think maybe we could have come to hate that, like
they spent a bit more time there. It took Claire till the very end of the season to even see Alcazar where they're at and everything.
Yeah, like in France last season at that big battle, like I had a lot of time to get to really dislike all those people. Maybe I just didn't feel as invested in look, there's a lot I liked about this season. It's gorgeous. Great locations. I kind of enjoy the amount of like previously French and now Spanish that's being used in this show. It's realistic to me that people aren't just all speaking perfect English all the time. Right? Like, you're in Spain, let's hear some Spanish. Like, I like what they're doing with the show. But yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of emotion going into this or coming out of it. And it does feel like, like in B's comment, in between, as we've described it, as like, it's just like a hiatus in the middle of like one big season. Like this is going to maybe feel like 4A and 4B by the time it's over.
Yeah. The other problem is, and this is just on the series as a whole, I told you this earlier. I saw somebody post on social media and I completely agree with it. This is supposed to be a show with Daryl and Carol. It was like we finally got them back together and they didn't really spend a whole lot of time together. Like I would have liked to have seen more of them together this season, just like, working together, fighting together, rather than like he leaves her in Solaz and goes out on his own. Like I get she was hurt, but yeah, I would have rather seen more of them teaming up
Yeah.
than we
I mean,
got.
I
For
think in this finale episode, like Carol and Daryl are running like separate parallel rescue missions. And that's a narrative choice that the writers make. And I get that. But
it was the wrong choice, in my opinion.
I mean, I think you're not wrong that people want to see like Carol and Daryl like working together and being badass. And Carol was not all she can be this season. I know, as you said, she had a bad concussion, but like in this episode, there was twice where I was like, "This is so obviously a trap." Like it's obviously a trap, Carol, right? Like,
Yeah.
she can be
I
a
would have
little
liked to
bad,
have seen her maybe go head to head with him a bit more too.
a
Could
little
have
more
been could
badass,
have been
Carol.
fun. Yeah, more badass Carol. I don't know if they're afraid she'll overshine him or it's just because of the way the season went. I don't know. For that reason, I wasn't loving it. Like I was so happy last season that they're finally back together, and I get that they weren't together much last season because it took them most of the season to get there. But it's like they had the whole season and they just didn't. There wasn't really enough shining moments between the two of them. I feel like that there should have been, and now we only get one season left. It's like I watched originally I watched this show knowing Melissa McBride was not going to be in the first season, and I get that. But I mean, I'm watching this show for both of them. I love Daryl, don't get me wrong, but I want to see Carol too, and I want to see, like you said, badass Carol, and I feel like she's been underutilized, or not so much underutilized, but not utilized well. This season, I feel like. So yeah, I think they're missing a lot of what they could have that isn't there. And I really want a Daryl and Carol show, not a Daryl and a Carol, So
yeah. And like I think like having them on these separate missions, as I said, is a choice, but yeah, we would have liked to see Daryl and Carol fighting together more, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. B agrees. Says I agree. I wanted them to be working together. It was the wrong choice. I really hope she gets to be more Carol like next season. I don't understand why the Raiders split them up. I don't know, because I thought like the whole thing was they finally got them back together. So it makes no sense to me. It really doesn't. And that's I think that's my biggest complaint from the season is that the two of them weren't together enough. Yeah, not that I did, dislike the other characters or anything. I just would have liked to have seen them working and fighting together a bit more. All right. Well, let's jump in. I got a picture of the statue there. But all right. So at the beginning of the season, we have this guy comes up, picks up the Rubik's Cube, and we find out that it is Co-Drone. Look, I'm glad they brought them back. But as we were discussing a little bit before the show here, the fact that Carol and Daryl seemed to get to Spain kind of randomly because it wasn't where they were headed, the fact that he somehow randomly shows up there is problematic. I mean, I'm guessing they're saying he followed them, but they were out on the open sea. I don't see how that's possible in any way, shape, or form, other than the idea that we agree on this show that you can cross the country in a couple minutes and, you meet up with anybody all the time and don't have to worry about it. They're going to see their friends again. It's like, that's one of the big things we always joke about and get annoyed about.
I mean, first of all, so I don't like seeing him because it makes no narrative sense. And we last saw him, he lost his mind in the tunnel. I think he ran off to go be presumably eaten, right? In the tunnel. He runs off, he goes crazy, never to be seen again. And I agree with you. There's no way he could be like, how could he follow them all through London onto the boat? They take a boat and they got lost in a storm. They washed up in this place totally randomly because the storm.
Yeah, if they had him find them in London and be in the rest of the season, then I could maybe buy it. But yeah, or even if they somehow had him I don't know, meet up with somebody that said this is where they are, and there was a reason for him to find out they were in Spain. But just to randomly show up there is very problematic.
And then he picks up this Rubik's Cube like it's a clue, right? Like, okay, we know that Laurent had a Rubik's Cube, but there are Rubik's Cubes in the world. I happened to find one outside Target like 2 months ago this summer, a little Rubik's Cube like keychain. Like,
Yeah, I'm not sure that screams, "Hey, this belonged to Daryl."
Oh my God, Daryl Dixon! Yeah. It's Laurent's Rubik's Cube, and Daryl Dixon's like he looks at it like. Yeah,
if it had his name carved into it or something, maybe that would make a little more sense. But this random Rubik's Cube,
him randomly being in Solaz de Mar, just like it's just not possible. Of all the things that are like, I believe more that zombies are possible than I believe this guy could show up in the right place at the right time.
Maybe he put a tracker on Daryl somewhere that he doesn't know about. It's in his leather jacket or whatever.
It's magic. There's a couple things a couple things happened in this episode that were basically magic, and it bothered me a little bit. And when I saw this guy, I was really wanted to puke a little in the very first shot. And thankfully he's like never seen again except for like one moment. Like he doesn't play a role in the action of this episode.
No. I mean, I like him. I just don't like the way he got there. But like I said, this is something. Yeah, I like his character. This is something that I think that, like I said, when you watch this show, you kind of have to get used to it. It's really annoying. I mean, it's like with Morgan. I was trying to think of his name. Like Morgan somehow found his way back to, the other people, and there was no way he could have found his way back to Rick. And like you kind of accept it. It's part of the story. But they do it too much in these shows. That's why I said it's like they can cross the country in a day and they never have to worry about not seeing their friends again. It's a problem.
And I'm sorry, but of all the people I'd maybe want to see again from France, that would be Isabel, who is dead.
Oh, dead.
Who has gone to America, but
going to end up there. But
Cadrone was a major antagonist for the entire 2 seasons, and then he's not a friend or an ally. He became more like a strange bedfellow by the end of it, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's fair. Yeah.
Why?
I just have to see how he fits in. Like I said, it would have made sense maybe if he ran into them in London. That would have maybe made sense, but not here.
Yeah.
And that still would have been a stretch, but this is too much of a stretch.
B says, I imagine him picking up the Rubik's Cube and thinking, it can't be, and not really knowing. I just can't think he would know. Yeah.
He wouldn't, but I'm sure he probably does with the show. I'm guessing. He'll find them. He'll find them somehow.
Yeah, being more like, I haven't seen a Rubik's Cube in the whole apocalypse, and now I see 2 in the last
a couple months, or whatever.
Yeah. But I mean, that would be crazy also that he doesn't expect to see them, but he has randomly washed up in the same town. I don't know.
I mean, if he followed him in a boat and it got stuck in the same storm, I guess. But the thing that's the biggest problem, I think, is that they won't explain it. Like, that they're just going to have it. He shows up and says, "Oh, I followed you," and that's going to be the end of it, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be the worst part of it. But either way, he's back.
Yeah.
And then we go to Carol and Roberto get into the lighthouse.
Yeah.
Waiting for is this? They get to the lighthouse. I don't know. The one thing I have written doesn't make sense, but that's when they get to the lighthouse. Then we have Fede here, who is punishing Antonio because number one, because Carol left, but also because I'm assuming he knows now that Roberto's gone again. And he's trying to find out where they went. So he's beating him up and is going to make an example out of him. And that's what that is about. Which we figured that was going to happen. Look, that's not really surprising. All right. So then we go to Daz. I was going to say Daz. Daryl and Paz. There we go.
Daryl, Paz, Daz.
Daz. Yeah, no, we don't need a new ship. They show up in this town. They happen to come upon, which this part makes sense. Alcazar is kind of everywhere, so I can buy that. But they find some people from El Alcazar that are looking for workers we find out later it's to work at the dinner for the Spanish royalty, but they're looking for people to work for them, and they're like, we'll give you food if you work for us. So him and Paz are like, yeah, this is a way we're going to get into Barcelona, because that's the whole point. They need to get into
Not Barcelona.
Or
they have left Barcelona. They're trying to get into Alcazar. So there's a palace called El Alcazar in Spain. I don't know.
Barcelona is where they came from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, either way, they're going to where El Alcazar is. Whether that's the name of the town or not, I'm not sure, but that's where they're headed.
Yeah. I mean, I think El Alcazar is the Alcazar is this palace in Spain, and they I think they really shot there.
They probably did.
Yeah.
Either way, I think it was a smart move. It's a way to get in. But they're both gonna go in. And then hold on, I gotta move my photos here. All right. I gotta picture the sunrise, or I guess it's not the sunrise, whatever it is, it looks cool. Yeah, that's at the lighthouse. So
lighthouse is cool. That's a beautiful place.
It's
they shoot there also.
So Antonio, or not Antonio, sorry, Roberto is pissed off at his dad because he lied about his mother, or hid about his mother, I should say, not necessarily lied about his mother. Which we knew and we expected. And Carol's trying to explain to him, he was doing it to protect you. And she just says he's a coward. He just says he's a coward. But Carol tells him that for some of us, meaning I assume she means for like people that lived through the apocalypse and weren't young like him, that it got easier to stop thinking about the future or believing that you could actually be happy, but that, his father never gave up on him. And they just have to wait for Daryl and Justina, and then they can all leave together. But she's going back for his father, even though he, doesn't seem to care that his father's life's in danger. He's busy being pissed off at him, basically.
I kind of liked that little piece of dialogue from Carol, actually. I mean, this is a theme that we've seen done kind of not as well. Like, Dead City has this theme of like Herschel always telling Maggie, like, you people always want to go back, like what was so great about the past. And like when we've seen young people who grew up in the apocalypse, I feel like this is a little bit of a recurring theme, but it was like written so much more nicely, coming what Carol says in the scene where she says, like, you don't remember the past. And what does she say? Like, we want to go back and can't go forward, but you young people, like, you've shown us that it, like,
this is that they never thought about the future. They just kind of didn't think they could ever be happy, and they've shown them, that they can be. And it's a little different now. Yeah. And I think the apocalypse is different for the younger and older people, and I kind of get her point, and she's trying to get him to understand it, but he's not really having it at any rate. So then we go back to let's see.
Is this Elena being?
Yeah, no, this is Justina. Oh, no. I thought this part was with Elena, but yeah, Justina is getting ready for the
auction.
The auction is getting ready for that, and then we see Elena talking to her husband. I don't remember his name, Guillermo, the our guy, and he's kind of pissed off about what happened in the attack. And he knows that Paz was there, and he
said something. I didn't catch the piece of the line. He says, I saw the way you look at her. You look at her like, did he say you look at her like you used to look at me or something like that? Like, I didn't catch the dialogue.
Like that. I just know he says he's seen the looks.
I see the way you looked at her, and he
and then he's like, I gave you everything, and so he's pissed because he knows that she's still in love with that other woman. But look, I mean, she's gone with him. It's not like she left him. He's just being, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, like, she didn't really do anything.
Oh,
he's not happy. He wants
you looked at her like you looked at her in Solaz. So he's noticed.
He means like the last when they were in the town.
When they saw him in the town.
So this is very wants to go back with her.
This is like a very typical thing, like I've seen in movies and shows of like
jealous boyfriend,
an abusive husband or a person who's enslaved, and the powerful person in the relationship is like, I gave you everything. Like, wait, I was brought here against my will, forced to marry you, and like I've been sucking it up, but like the idea that I gave you pretty dresses and food is like supposed to be
I think
enough,
they
right?
truly believe that. I think these stupid men believe that.
Oh yeah.
I think he
No,
believes it. I
yes.
think he's
He
that
believes it.
pompous that he thinks she should love him, and
Yes, and
yeah,
I think also, I think you're right, and also like he thinks, and we've seen this in other shows, he thinks that like having food and a pretty dress and security, it like is
that it makes up
should
for
be
everything.
enough, and the idea of having love and agency to make your own choice and freedom to leave if you want is not part of this, like not conceivable to him that she should want those things.
Yeah,
Right.
especially because he's going to be the king of Spain, so he thinks he's all great, and
Yeah. And she's like, "Oh,
so
I was put in a lottery and auctioned off to you. Yeah, thank you. I'm so
and I had
grateful."
no choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there is also the point that Elena makes later to Justina that like they want to be chosen because if they're not chosen, the alternative is a lot worse.
Which is crazy, also insane, because
And I think that's
they're
actually here. Yeah.
they're all like beautiful women. Like they're all beautiful. They're all able, because there's only beautiful girls in El Solaz. There are no, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah, because
um,
it's TV.
but
But I
but
also have to question why are they taking more women than they need, too, is the other thing. Like I thought
well,
they
yeah.
needed these women, and it's like, no, if a man doesn't like you and doesn't take you, then you're gonna be a slave here. So she's basically telling her, you need to get prettied up and get picked, or you're gonna regret it because it's
It's
better
just
off
kind
to
of
be
crazy. Like, why don't they like send them back or let them just live in the town? Like they're beating them and abusing them like they did something. It's a little crazy.
yeah. Yeah, the whole thing. I mean, look, we talked about before we didn't have any proof that it wasn't going to be a nice place, but I mean, we
Yeah.
knew it because it's Walking Dead and that's just the
Yeah.
way it is. But yeah, she basically tells her you need to get picked by a guy or you're going to end up a slave, which would be much worse.
And you
And
need to wear this old timey dress that we all have reverted to old timey clothing in the future.
well, it looks like it's made out of curtains or something, but I
It
mean,
kind
it's
of
not like
does.
they have, it's
Yeah.
not like they have tons of new material to choose from, so.
Yeah. This, just the way they made this like an old Western, like
Yeah, I
all their
know.
clothes are kind of like, I just want to see one person wearing like a red puffy Columbia jacket, right?
Yeah, that is true. All right. So then we go to them a little bit to show them.
I did think it was stupid of Paz to keep with the hat. That hat is so distinctive and it's so obvious. Like, if anybody's on the lookout, like, there's been an ambush. They should be on the lookout for these two, right? And she's wearing like this very distinctive thing. I was like, take your hat off so people
well,
won't
maybe she
notice it.
thinks no one would be stupid enough. Maybe they think no one would be stupid enough to keep wearing.
I mean, you're trying to blend in, but
Yeah.
whatever. It's a cool hat and it looks good on her.
Yeah, it's a cool hat. It just, I get it. You're right. So then Carol sneaks back into the town under the tarp.
The
And once again,
old under the tarp in the back of the truck trick.
that Fede again does not notice
I
somehow.
think like these guys fell for it last week when Carol smuggled Roberto out in the back of the truck, right?
Yeah,
And
and
now,
the thing is that we know he knows that he got out somehow, so you think he'd be a little more careful. But I don't know, maybe he cares more about people leaving than coming.
I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe they haven't previously had a problem with people sneaking out and in, and so they're complacent and they don't thoroughly search vehicles ever.
I guess also he probably thinks they got away. Why would they come back? Like that's
I
something.
guess because he
Like,
doesn't
why
know
would you
Carol
be
like
stupid
we
enough
know
to go
Carol.
back? Yeah, we know Carol. Carol's gonna come save her boyfriend or what? Not her boyfriend, but you know what I mean. Come save Antonio.
Yeah.
All right. So then we find Paz and Daryl. I almost said Daz again. Paz and Daryl are going to be working at that place and at the palace. And I thought I had a picture where they're given the masks. I don't, but they can very conveniently have to wear masks because they're not to be they're not to speak to the royalty. The royalty doesn't want to see them.
Well,
kind of like that seen and not heard thing. And
it says, it's why do we wear this? And Paz says, so they don't have to look the workers in the face. And I was like, wait, what is that even about? But I guess they're like they have like raised royalty to a level that's even higher than like what we know it, right?
Yeah, so like their workers are just trash and they don't want to be bothered by them, basically.
I don't know about that, but you could tell them don't speak. But they're wearing a mask, and the mask is given as a reason they don't want to even look at these people in the face, as though they're like
way below them.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What it is super convenient writing to allow Daryl and Paz to sneak in.
Yeah. I mean, look, I guess if they didn't have the masks, we would have been complaining, why is nobody noticing them? So
yeah, you're right. You're right. We'd be like, oh my God, like I just complained about her hat, giving her away.
Yeah, I know, right? All right. So then we have Fede's mother, who does go to him and says that there are rumors you sent Justina away. And he's like, why are you believing the Americans above me? You know, I'm your son. You should be listening to me.
He's the worst, right? Like he's sunk even lower in my estimation in this episode where he's lying to his mother's face.
Yeah, like at least tell her the truth, right? But no, he's like, of course I didn't. You're believing the Americans? Why are you believing the Americans? And then she's like, oh, I know. I should trust you. But it's not me that doesn't trust you. You got to convince the town. So she's like, this gives him the idea basically is that he's got to make an example of Antonio because he wants to scare everybody. I mean, essentially. So I was going to say digs up. He doesn't dig up. He gets the 3 people from Alcazar out of the walker cage, wherever you want to call it that they were, and brings them out. And he's like, look what I found. The Americans killed them after we were nice and gave them safe harbor. They went and they killed the people that were here and caused all these problems. And they escaped because we have a traitor, which he means Antonio. And he says that Alcazar would expect justice for his death, would expect justice, and his death will be a warning until they return. And then he brings,
which is kind of a lie. Like he really wants to get rid of Antonio for his own reasons, right?
Right. And he wants to use him to scare everybody.
So he's got this medieval
before, like, why are they not even allowed to leave? Like the fact they can't even leave is kind of a problem. But yeah, he let his son like he let his son leave. Like that isn't really something that I don't know that he needs to, torture him for. But yeah, he wants to know where he and the Americans are, I guess. And he's going to torture him until he tells him what he wants to know.
And at first I felt like, at first I was like, oh, they're rigging up this sort of medieval torture device. But I recognize this as a form of torture that is used today still, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think maybe,
episode.
I mean, I don't want to impugn specific governments. I don't know if this was like done at Gitmo. It's been done, right? This type of torture is like hanging you by your arms like that. I'm surprised that your arms won't break, but I guess they won't. But it looks very painful and very. I mean, I don't feel that like torturing this really nice guy that everybody in the town likes, it is eventually going to like. These are the signs of Fede like losing control over the town, right? That he's like taking these more and more extreme measures, and yet nobody.
I think he's trying to scare everybody. He's using him as a.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Yep.
Yeah. But he says he needs to tell him what he wants to know. And like I said, I guess he wants to know where Carol and Daryl and Roberto are, I guess. Which I would think they left and they're not coming back. But apparently.
I would think check out that lighthouse, right? Like,
yeah. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Or like if Daryl is not, he's been complaining, Fede's been complaining that Daryl's not working on the boat. He kind of like, where else could he have gone? He must have gone to save Justina, right? Like,
yeah. Well, I think he knows that. I think that's part of it too. He's also afraid that if they went after Alcazar, they're going to cause more problems for them and get them pissed at the town.
And he would be correct.
Yeah, he would be correct. You're right. All right. So then we go back to the palace and we see these marionette walkers.
It's sort of like an opera kind of being done, right? With marionette walkers.
Yeah, I said I like this. It was totally over the top, crazy, but creepy, and yeah, I kind of liked it.
It was like a cool new thing. It was predictable that they were going to get loose. And in general, I think that in the apocalypse, we should not use zombies as a form of entertainment while we're having dinner, right? Like, this is a very dangerous thing they're doing here.
Put them behind glass or something so they can't
Yeah,
get out.
it was cool though. You're right. It was really over the top and cuckoo, but kind of cool.
Yeah, but it definitely reminds me, like I said, in Dead City when they had them like strapped to the instruments or whatever. I can't remember.
Oh
exactly.
yeah, there was a yeah.
It was kind of like that. So yeah, but the king and queen are there. They're having their entertainment during dinner, and the king's given a speech about how his son is going to carry on his legacy, and the new queen, which of course is Elena, and Daryl. Such odd masks. They don't even match, do they? I don't know what kind of masks are, but they don't seem to match.
It looked like it was made out of wood and maybe very old, and it was kind of cool looking. Although I feel like in this kind of future, like you might like just have like a surgical mask or a bandana on your face or something, right? But it was cool looking and sort of operatic looking, right?
Yeah. V says, I would like to know how they got all that makeup on those walkers. That was a lot, and they still had their teeth.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it may not have been actual makeup. They could have used paint.
But still, if you go back to it, B's right. They have like
yeah, you wonder why the walkers' teeth never fall out,
They have like all that white makeup, and like they do have lipstick and rouge, and that one on the left is sort of like clown sort of looking, right? Like, yeah, they got a lot of makeup onto these walkers.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. I had not thought of that, B. That's funny. But yeah, we know this is going to end badly. And then we have the, like you said, it's kind of like an auction. And I think they call it the matching, I think, something like that.
Yeah, you call it that.
So it's this ritual where they have, yeah, and you're right, they all have the same kind of dresses. Where they have the men choose a flower that matches the girl's dress, and they're going to be wed to that man, and then whoever's left becomes slaves.
It's very old timey, right? Like it's almost like a I mean, this show keeps hearkening to the old American West, and they're covered from their neck to their wrists to their ankles with a very specific type of tailoring. Like it does look like a more of like an 1850s kind of a
like a Western outfit.
Yeah, it does. Like like a Western, like the 19th century Western, what they wear and like Gunsmoke or whatever, right? Yeah.
But yeah, they are on, like you said.
I mean, they look very lovely, all of them, but
yeah, but
and this is one of the few kind of bits of color that we get even in this season, right? Like everybody's wearing like tan and gray like the whole season, and this is like one of the few like colorful kind of bits of clothing we get.
Which I think is also supposed to show obviously the royalty and the rich, because these people that are rich own them basically.
Yes,
are going to own them anyway. And yeah, they go up on their line, and the different men come up and go to choose them. And Justina is not chosen at the end. So she pulls her hair down before the last guy chooses. And he seemed like he was going to choose the other girl. And he changes his mind and chooses her.
With a flower. It's like on The Bachelorette where the guy gives you the rose, right? Yeah, the rose ceremony.
But it matches their dress. But yeah, I guess her trying to be sexy or whatever was what won him over.
Trick.
Wow. And yeah, and the other girls are kind of appalled, like, why didn't I think of that type of thing? But yeah. So she has been chosen.
She's like made her decision. She's like, at this point, I'm like, oh, did she make her decision? I'm going to make the best of it. I'm going to make sure I get a husband so I don't become like a whatever, a worker, a slave, like she seems to like, she's committing to this until you see her grab the knife, right, in the next scene.
Yeah, and a bit later. So Paz asks what Daryl's going to do, and he's like, I'm working on it, because they do see her. So they know she's out, and they see Elena too. So they know they have to get to her. Then we go back to Antonio again, and Carol catches up to him and tries to rescue him. And look, we all knew like this is totally a trap. They're waiting for you. They in case. I mean, look, I don't know that he necessarily thought they'd come back, but I think he definitely was watching in case they came back.
Yeah, they're not going to just leave him out there unattended all night long,
where he can escape, right? Yeah.
Anybody in the town could set up a sympathetic person in the town, but much less Carol. It's definitely he's definitely using like he is bait for Carol, right? And we all know it.
Yeah, most definitely.
And like Carol says to him, we had to wait till it was safe. I almost wish Carol would have been like, look, I know this is probably a trap, but we had to make our move.
Yeah, I would have felt better if she said that, I think, because it would have seemed more realistic. Like she's smart enough to know what's going to happen. Yeah, but they get him down, and then they get shot at, which we expected to happen.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And there's this weird shootout where everyone is really far away. Like they're shooting at Carol from like the opposite end of the town square.
Well, it wasn't a good trap.
Well, it's dark. It's dark.
No, I know, but he totally would have been watching for them. You know he was, so it's kind of a problem.
Fede would have had his men out. His henchmen would have all been out.
Yeah, but that's okay. All right, so we go back to the palace, and Daryl goes backstage and cuts the puppets. Look, we knew this was coming. I love that guy that comes back, though, and he's like, are you lost? Are you stupid?
And it's a good thing the mask was wood, because Daryl headbutts him with the mask, right, and knocks him right out.
Yeah. So he lets go of the walkers, and of course, as expected, they start eating everybody. And they kill the king and queen. So I guess Guillermo's going to take over faster than they expected, right?
Yeah.
Daryl catches the stage on fire. He throws the lantern at the curtain, which was smart. Could have maybe done that first, but so they gets panicked, And then back, we kind of flick back and forth, and back in the town, Carol and Antonio are hiding, trying to get away. And I don't know I guess at this point, the people that were with them get separated from them. They don't really say, but they end up dead later. So I guess they just got separated from them. But somebody named Carmen helps them into her house. Oops, that's
her beautiful, beautiful apartment here. Yeah.
And tells them to go upstairs and hide. And then there's this thing where Daryl sees
look at that gorgeous tile floor.
Yeah, it is not. Is that Justina and the guy? I couldn't tell for sure. It's dark. I guess it's supposed to be maybe, but I wasn't entirely sure. Yeah, but either way, Daryl is like, we gotta get out of here. He's trying to figure out how to get her out. So, and then Fede has a conversation with this guy that I never remember his name.
His
henchman, and basically is like, he tells Fede that somebody came and got Antonio, and we know that there's not many possibilities of who would have done that. So
I do like this where the henchman is like, oh, like they snuck in a truck from the lighthouse, and Fede's like, so someone let them in? Like, he doesn't really follow up on that, but Fede's getting it, right?
Yeah, and his security isn't so great, right?
Mm-hmm.
His henchmen are not so great. So he says to send the dogs after them, because he thinks the dogs will attack them, which I don't think we ever actually see any dogs, do we?
No, he means the zombies. He says, he says release the dogs, and henchman says, you mean the hollow ones? And Betty says, yes, the dogs, which that's new that he suddenly is calling them his dogs.
Yeah, I knew that, but didn't connect it. Now I feel stupid.
Because it was new. He's never.
I'm like, where are the dogs? Where are the dogs?
He's not, I thought at first also, I was like, wait, are there zombie dogs? Like, wait, what?
Yeah, I was thinking of like, I don't know, I was for some reason thinking of The Last of Us when they like let loose the dogs to attack everybody.
Yeah, but he means
I was thinking there was none. So
this guy asks him, he says, you mean the hollow ones? And he's like, yeah, the dogs, which is like a new.
So this is where I said to you that when I see that, I keep thinking it says
Huevos.
Huevo instead of El Hueco. I keep seeing it spelled like in my head, spelled different. Like, no, that's the eggs, not the dead one.
The huevos.
but I still think they could call them rotten eggs and it would be funnier. Okay, so they're gonna set the walkers loose. And then meanwhile, Elena hears somebody coming and it's Paz. So she is safe now, at least for the moment. And they hug. Yeah. And now we find out the reason why Elena never tried to run was because she has a son with Guillermo. So she has stayed there. That's why she never went after Paz or anything. And she, quickly understands that. And Paz tells her, if we're all going to leave, we got to go pack. And then
I liked how they used this kid in this episode. You and I both, when we see a kid in an episode, we get a little nervous, right? And I really thought this kid is going to blow it. The kid's going to be like, "Daddy, Daddy," as they're running away or something. And it did not go at all the way, the predictable kid way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I would agree with that. So then Guillermo comes out, puts the knife or the sword or whatever on Paz, and we get a flashback. Look, I know we didn't need any of the Daryl flashbacks. I didn't mind this flashback. I don't know that it was necessary, but it was driving home the story we got before, where she had said about coming back for Elena, and somebody almost killed her and left her for dead, or tried to kill her and left her for dead.
She's told us that story before. I don't know why we had
it, but
I don't know why we had a flashback and why it had to be this actual guy, right? Like turns out that it's
Guillermo did. You mean
that it's Guillermo, right? Which I'm not sure I believe that the Crown Prince would be out on this kind of mission, right? But
she was trying to take his wife away.
No. Back in I know, but he was still the Crown Prince back then, right? Like he's the Crown Prince out and about, right? But I didn't need this flashback, and it didn't tell me anything I didn't already know, and maybe it's supposed to engender more sympathy for Paz, but it didn't for me. I guess only because we've had limited time with this character, and I just my I don't know, it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't bother me because it was only a couple seconds, but was it necessary? Not really.
It wasn't necessary, but at least it wasn't.
Some people, I feel though, like some people may not have picked up on that he was that guy with what he says, because I remember you want my wife. Like I think that some viewers who maybe didn't pay as much attention wouldn't have been like, oh, he's the one that left her for dead. Like, so it didn't really bother me. I just don't know that it was.
And I guess it's set up to create a greater sense of satisfaction in us viewers when she does run him through.
Yeah.
Later in the episode.
Because he says that you want my wife, you can have her, and he says that you can have her and you can both be together forever because I'm going to mount your heads on the wall.
On her bedpost. I'm going to put your head on her bedpost.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I have together, not a wall. Okay. And he goes to kill her, but Elena, like you said, runs him through. And
I didn't expect that. I did not expect Elena.
No, I didn't expect it. Probably should have, but didn't. Paz tells Elena to go get her kid, and she kills Guillermo and says, "I remember you too." So yeah.
But now we cut.
Yeah, that was. I didn't realize I had the wrong thing on. All right, so then we go to Justina, who is with her suitor. And I don't think I see B's comment, but we haven't gotten to that.
We'll come to it. Yeah,
I started it. Yeah, we'll get to it. So look. I don't know if she hadn't pulled a knife on him, would he have necessarily reacted the same way? I don't know. I'm guessing he probably would have forced himself on her either way. But he didn't actually do anything until she puts the knife on him because he was acting really nice. He's like, "Do you want a drink?" And he wasn't really doing anything. And she's like, "I have a knife. Give me your car." Or not car, but give me your vehicle or whatever. Yeah, I guess it is his car.
It was not a good move. It was not a strategic, not a well thought out plan that Justina has, right? She has like a butter knife, a steak knife. She's not. I guess she's been pretty sheltered. She's not an experienced fighter. Like in Carol's hand, that little knife is a deadly weapon. In Justina's hand, it's kind of like a joke, right? Yeah. Like she's not a capable fighter. She's been a little like Fede has sheltered her. And this is not a town like Alexandria where they train all the kids to fight from the age of like 6, right?
Right.
So she's a little like you could tell this was going to not go her way, and the
Yeah,
guy
he knew
quickly
it wasn't.
overpowers her, right? And
Yeah,
he's
and he immediately like knock. He's like, you don't need that. He jumps on top of her, and he's probably going to force himself on her. And he's like,
I
he
didn't
does
get the
say the,
feeling. I didn't get the
well,
feeling that he was going to rape her. He was trying to
I
overpower her
he
and
was on
subdue
top
her.
of her. Yes, you're right. He might have just been trying to get the knife and overpower her, but I assumed that's where it was
Because then
headed.
she,
But
as he pushes her down on that love seat or whatever, there's like two swords in a umbrella
yeah, right
stand or
there.
whatever, and she goes to grab a sword, right? Like she's gonna fight him, and he's trying to
Yeah.
like. I
Well,
took it that
either
he was
way,
just
he
trying to
does say
subdue
to
her.
her, "You manipulated me. What do you expect?" So like he's done
Yeah,
being nice either way.
yeah,
But of course Daryl comes in and kills him, so it's all good.
yeah.
There's all right. And then she hugs Daryl. Daryl hugs her, whichever
Yeah,
way you want to say.
yeah.
All right. So then they go back out into the palace, and thankfully she's like, "Hey, come on," to the other women who just stand there staring, like, I didn't know what to do. It's like, get over
Well,
here, let's go.
I guess they don't know
Very
her. They don't
shocked.
know Daryl. These two people have been in the town for 5 minutes, right?
Right. And it's not necessarily that they trust them. It's more the fact that there's walkers around everywhere and they're just
Oh, yeah,
standing in the corner staring,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
run or
Fair.
something.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And then we have Carol and Antonio here. And this is where B's conversations or B's thing says that whole thing with the cup of tea when they're hiding and needing to run from Fetty was insane. I agree. I think it was dippy. It wasn't necessarily necessary. And he's like, I brought you tea. And she's like, does it have honey and sugar or whatever? And that's why I said I think it would have been funny if he's like, no. And she's like, nah. Like, no, don't want to go with you then.
I said
Um,
I said something very similar to Jamie in our watch party, which was like, are they seriously like flirting and having like a romantic cup of tea right now when there's a bunch of people who want to kill you searching for you? Like it seems like not the right time to be getting all flirty
Yeah, I agree. Like, just
and
give her the tea.
relaxing with a cup of tea. Like you should
Yeah,
be like you should be looking for bullets.
yeah, yeah. No, I totally agree. Because of course he does show up. His people show up the next second, so they shouldn't have been doing that.
Yeah.
And Carmen sends him down to the basement. There's like this gate. It's like a hidden tunnel, I guess, under the house is what I'd call it, under the apartment.
Yeah.
And this person, I guess Jaime, I think Jamie. I want to say Jamie, but Jaime
I mean,
takes them out and gives Antonio a knife and says, "Good luck." And this is what he says: "Beware of los huecos, not huevos." And they go out, and there's a lot of walkers, but they're gonna fight them.
mhm.
And then they are met by that guy who tells him to come over, which is the guy that his wife was sick. Look, I didn't trust him right away when he called him over. I'm like, no, not him. You
Yeah.
know. But they come over and they are gonna follow him, and we know that's not going to go well.
Yeah.
And then back to the palace. Here's the thing. I wonder if it would have worked better. They always do this in the shows, and I always complain because it's hard to take screen captures because it goes back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes I wonder if they would focus on one thing, like one escape, and then show the other escape rather than boop, 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 boop. Maybe it would build the momentum a little bit more because you get such short little pieces. I don't know.
I mean, I get in this case, like you. So I agree with you, and we've talked about it all season that the like jumping back and forth between storylines can be disjointed and a little, distracting sometimes. In this case, they were supposed to be like parallel rescue and escapes, right? So I kind of get it.
Yeah, I just think maybe if they were a little bit longer. I'm not saying not to go back and forth. I'm just saying like go back and forth once. Don't go back and forth like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Personally, it kind of irritates me. But anyway, it's more of the escape. They're fighting their way out. And then there's the Alcazar castle, palace, whatever, which is now, I guess, on fire and everybody's going to be dead. So they made it.
Yeah.
And Paz is going to take the women, the other ones that were taken there. She's going to take them back to that camp in Barcelona with those people we met before, her friends, because she basically says, I have no reason to go back to Solaz. And also, if they go back to the town, Fede is going to be like, you escaped and cause all kinds of problems. So it's easier for them just to go back to the palace. It's only Justina that's like, got to go back to the town. So yeah, Paz is done. And this is where that line is that you said, I agree, is the best line. Whenever Daryl says, what's next for you? And she says, there's nothing in Solaz. And then she says, good luck getting back home. And she thanks him for helping. And he says, I couldn't have done it without you. And then she goes, really? And he says, nah, I probably could have.
Yeah.
I love that. That was great.
That was a great line.
Yeah. Daryl for you.
Yeah.
Daryl is not polite to be polite, right? And he's like, nah, I would have won. Which we know he would have kicked ass anyway, but it was funny and it was cute. But yeah, the coming.
They're leaving behind. Like I commented to you in our it was the best line. I think it might be the best line of like all the shows. It's one of the best lines I've ever seen on. It was great. But they're leaving behind. We commented on. So I don't know where they shot it. They didn't shoot it in the Alcazar Palace. I don't think they shot in Seville. They shot this show mostly in Madrid, but it is a palace that has stood for centuries. Wherever this palace is, it's clearly like 500 years old, more older, right? Like, and of course, Daryl shows up, and it's like a burning ruin when they flee.
Yeah,
because Daryl and Carol destroy everything they come across.
They do. But at any rate, Justina is going to come with Daryl. He says something about her going on the boat. I missed that part when I was trying to take the notes.
Oh yeah, he says like so Paz is going back to the refugee camp, the girls' camp, right? And she says there's nothing left for me in Solaz, but I was like, why don't you just say it? I'm going with Elena. Like Elena and I can be together now, right? But whatever, they're going there.
Well, you could have went there too.
And Justina says to Daryl, says, I've never been on a motorcycle before. And he says, how about a boat? And she says, like, a boat? Why? And he says, oh, because you're going with us. And that was...
Yeah, and you said, didn't she know that? I can't remember if he had agreed to take them before she left or not. He might not have until after. I don't know.
Roberto made that demand several episodes ago. Like, Roberto...
Yeah, but I think Daryl had said no at that point. I could be wrong, but I think it wasn't until after that Daryl agreed when he like gave him an ultimatum and everything, and then everything else went down. Yeah, either way, it shouldn't have been that difficult for her to figure out what he meant. But yeah,
but it was supposed to be cute or whatever, and then they have this like bike riding montage.
Yeah, they get on the motorcycle. It is cute, and there's some great shots of the
scenery.
And yeah, it's them riding. And let's see, there is a flashback again with Daryl and Merle. It's like, just stop already.
And you hear Merle's voice, right? Which I guess maybe was dialogue taken from earlier.
I didn't even notice it. I was more like, again, I didn't notice it was his voice. I mean,
it sounded like Rooker's voice, and I thought maybe they lifted some sound from The Walking Dead. But maybe. This is again a scene of like Merle taking the abuse and saying, Daryl, run. And that's just not what happened on the show, right? Like on the original storyline.
They somehow change something and tell us that like he's been, like repressing this memory or something, or it's some way that maybe they're going to have like Rooker guest star in a bit different, like a newer flashback or something, which I don't think they're going to do. No. I'm just saying like, unless it's one of those two things, like there is no point, because the people that watch this show, the majority of them have seen the original show and know it. So it seems like they're retconning it. But if you haven't watched the original show and you're just watching this, you don't need to know. So who cares? It's not important. Yeah. Period.
Yeah, this is clearly for longtime viewers, because you're right. A new viewer would be maybe more confused by this than even we are. But I mean, we know that like Merle was taking the abuse. He leaves. Daryl becomes the object of abuse. And later Merle says like, oh, I didn't know that would happen to you. Right. Like like the idea that.
So I don't know why they seem to be retconning it unless he's not remembering it right. Or like I said, maybe he repressed something. I don't know. It's just not necessary. And it doesn't make sense. Yeah. But maybe we'll find out later that it is important. I don't know. I doubt it. So yeah, Daryl puts gas in the bike. And they talk, and she says that, she couldn't believe what Fede did. And this is where he says, the world's messed up and you either go good or go bad. And she says, yeah, but you went good. And she says, why take this risk to help us? And he said, when the world got messed up, it felt like something got lost, the chance to have something. And that it won't happen for him, but he wants them to have that chance. He's basically saying, like, the world went to shit and we lost everything. And I guess he's kind of saying, like Carol said before, like, we didn't think that there was a possibility that, like, this kind of stuff isn't important to us anymore because the world went to shit, and, like, you two are in love, and even if it's, like, too late for us, maybe you can have it. I guess is kind of the gist of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It echoed what Carol said. It's kind of bullshit because we just had a whole show, The Ones Who Live, which was basically about the undying, unbreakable love between Rick and Michonne that, like, draws them together, right? Like, that whole show was all about, like, Michonne has left her children to go find the man she loves, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess Daryl and Carol think it's too late for them. And I think Daryl thinks it's too late for him because Isabel's dead is the other thing.
Yes,
so
he's still
kind of like, I didn't get my love. I didn't get what I wanted, but you can still. Yeah.
I'm sure I've never had my true love die, but I'm sure this early in this Raw, he certainly believes he can never love again, right? And the girl he loved before that was a psycho military crazy woman, right? Mm-hmm. Who was in that gang, whatever that gang was called she was in, right? And then, like, Carol had left Ezekiel. Like, these two have a trail of, like, bad
relationships.
Well, or good relationships that ended badly, right?
Yes, that's fair. That's fair. Because I was gonna say Isabel wasn't necessarily a bad relationship. It just ended bad. But yeah, so he's like, we're not gonna get it, but you can still have it, and yeah, we want to.
They're basically like, both of them are just like, oh, young love, let's support young love.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so they continue on their journey, and then they get to the lighthouse, and they find armed men in the lighthouse, and they grab Justina. But thankfully, we didn't have to go through this very long because Valentina's there, and she helps shoot them. And Daryl, I think, takes out the other guy.
I kind of don't know why she didn't kill them sooner if she had a crossbow. But
if she was there, why didn't she kill them before they got there? But I don't know. Maybe she didn't hear them until Daryl and
she says, like, she later says, Roberto made me hide in the attic while he ran off. And maybe these guys arrived later. I don't know. But anyway, again, everybody arrives in the nick of time in this show.
No, Roberto.
I love Valentina. I love Valentina, so it was great, right?
Oh, wait, where's Roberto? He went back to the town, right?
Roberto went back to the town, but in this scene, like, Valentina says,
she was hiding, and then
Roberto made me hide in the attic. That apparently the lighthouse has an attic.
And you would think she would have said, Roberto, don't be stupid and leave, but
And then Daryl says, where's Roberto? Oh, he went to the town. I don't really know why he went to the town because he can't know what's going on there, right?
I know. That's why I said, where'd he go? Because he wasn't going to save his father. He had already kind of abandoned him. So I'm not sure what that was about.
I guess he had a change of heart and decided to save his father.
Maybe, but I don't think that's why he went there. I think he went there for Justina. I'm just not sure
why. Why would he know Justina?
I said, but he wouldn't have a reason to do that other than it fit the plot. So anyway,
you're right.
But yeah, she tells him that he's gone.
Valentina,
Carol and Roberto. She says Carol and Roberto went to Solaz, and see that's what's confusing to me because he went later. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see Valentina listening to Roberto if she didn't want that. That was weird. I agree.
Well, she was shot. She was shot.
Yeah, but she was shot after, wasn't she?
No.
She had shot. Okay.
Daryl says to her, "You have an exit wound, and this is not new. Like, she was shot when those guys showed up. I think.
Okay.
I think she was shot earlier, I think.
Yeah, she must have been shot earlier and then was hiding because otherwise she would have taken him out. So.
Yeah, Daryl makes a remark that the wound is not fresh.
Yeah, I know.
Correct me, B, if you understood that differently, but I think that it's not I think she was shot and that's the only reason she listened to him and stayed behind. Because I agree, B. Oh, he says it's clean. He says it went through and it's clean.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things that isn't
Because
really.
he does say it's going to be fine. It went through. It's going to be fine. Stitch her up. At any rate, I agree. Why would Valentina listen? I love Valentina. I'd like to see Valentina get on that boat and go to America.
I agree. I hope that she does. I mean, I doubt she will, but yeah.
Well,
I agree.
nobody's getting on that boat now, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, nobody's going there now. So yeah. So then we go to, let's see.
That's Justina.
Yeah, that's just part of the same scene. Okay, so then we go back to the town, and as we said, the guy that brought them over there is actually the one that his wife was sick. Her lovers are gone, so I could see her going now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, those guys are all dead.
Yeah, I think she could. So yeah, he's the guy turned him in because he wanted his wife sick, and he did what Fede wanted, which I mean, I'm not surprised. And this is where Fede says, some sacrifice everything for the ones they love. For others, it's the ones they love who do all the sacrificing. And I guess when he says that, he's meaning Roberto.
He's got Roberto. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, Antonio's like, let Carol go. She doesn't need to be here. And like, yeah, that's never going to happen. Right.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, you both can go, but you won't. And
then we're all like, it's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. Right. Yeah. We all know it's a trap at this moment.
Yep. Trap. So they get outside and Roberto is chained up. And hey, the smart thing to do would be for Carol to hightail it out of there. He said she could leave, but that's not going to happen.
Well, he's chained to these two guys, and then Fede shot the two guys, and they're dead, and they're going to turn, and he'll be chained to two zombies.
These are the ones that helped Carol get in and help.
They're Valentina's guys.
Rip it down. Yeah. Are these are her boyfriends, aren't they? I didn't even realize that till now. They were Valentino's guys. I didn't realize that. They might have been. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I just didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That's who they were.
Anyway,
yeah, they were the ones that helped Carol get back in and helped Antonio from the being chained up or whatever. All right, so they're trying to get the chains off with their bare hands that they somehow think they're going to break. Like that. I thought that part was a little like they would have been better off killing finding something to kill the walkers with. Yeah. Rather than wearing
you could pretty much smash their heads into the pavement and kill right?
Yeah. And that would be the thing you would want to do first, then worry about the chain. But they want it tense.
They're freaking out, they're nervous, whatever.
Yeah, Fede's up there watching them to see what they do. There is a woman, whoops, I don't have a picture, but there is a woman who throws a knife down to Carol.
And this black guy on the right is such a great shot that he shoots the knife and it bounces away from Carol.
Yeah, so she can't grab the knife, which is kind of like, really?
The guy could not hit Carol at all the night before, but now he can hit a knife at 50 yards. Right. But whatever. As I said in the chat, I guess if you're still alive at this point, it's because you're a great shot.
Yep. And speaking of great shot, here comes Daryl. And he starts shooting all the walkers.
So I was a little annoyed here only because Daryl pops up like magic. And we never see, I mean, I get we don't have unlimited time to watch every single thing happen. And they want the element of surprise and Daryl to the rescue. But he has snuck into the town and then snuck up onto this balcony somehow.
Yeah. Also, I kind of would have liked Carol to have saved herself. I don't think she needed Daryl.
Oh, I like that, Jamie. Yes.
Wow. But instead we get Daryl shooting all the walkers.
This season is not about female empowerment.
It's not. Very true. So he starts shooting them, and then Justina comes up and she's like, Fede lied to you all. And I don't have a picture, but I love that's where Fede's mother slaps him in the face. Like, really? Like, you lied to me. And the people of town believe her.
Fede the mother comes out and she says it's Justina, save her. And Fede grabs the rifle away from his guy and starts shooting zombies. And other people and Daryl, they're shooting. Justina is unarmed. Well, no, she has a small knife, I think, but she's making a lot of noise and she's attracting the zombies to herself, right? And so they have to shoot all the zombies because Fede doesn't want them to eat Justina.
Yeah, but she had already started saying that he lied. So he did
Yes,
do
she
it
was.
to favor. He didn't really have to. So I appreciate at least he still didn't want her to die.
Well, and he's not going to do it in front of his mother, like right in front of his mother, let Justina die, right? He's still afraid of his mother.
Yeah.
But I felt like Justina, who has not been a strong fighter or the most strategic thinker because she's like 20, like here she pulls this move where she's drawing the zombies to herself, not paying attention to Roberto, more turning to her, and she's almost like daring Fede to like right, like I was maybe reading into it, but reading into that, she's like, is he gonna let me die? Is he gonna, like, there's a lot of,
yeah,
I might have read the subtext into it, but I felt like Justina was like, she's drawing the zombies to her, and others are, I mean, maybe she has little regard for her own self right now because she's so angry, and I also feel like the part we didn't see was where Daryl was like, you stay here, I'll go into the town and save everyone. And then Daryl probably did not expect she was going to do this.
Yeah. Either way, he kills the other walkers, saves her, and then his mother slaps him.
That was awesome. Yay, Mama.
Yeah. Yes.
There he is. There's Mama on the left.
Yeah. All right. So then they all hug each other, and they kind of know that because Justine is like, he lied, the townspeople are coming out and are siding with them, so they'll be let go, they're assuming. I like that shot. He's looking back at her. And then they're going to take him away, and they were going to put him probably in the same place, but Roberto...
You mean that torture thing that he had Antonio in?
Or attach him to walkers. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Or just kill him, maybe.
Yeah, and
Justina objects.
Justina says to show him mercy. She doesn't want them to kill him. And then Roberto says, put him in the dungeon.
Because Justina says, if we do it, then we're just like him, right? Yeah. And we have to be better, is really why. She doesn't want to show him mercy because she feels bad for him. She doesn't want to be like him, right? I think is what happened there. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, so then we go out to the boat. They're all going to leave on the boat. Everything's good. Oh, and Carol's like, do you want to eat the hot dogs now?
Yeah.
For last night in Spain. And he's like, yeah, sure, why not? And then this is where he says, do you want to hear something stupid? And he says, this whole time I've been trying to get home, but I realized I don't know why I left in the first place. Why I leave France right away? You know, I feel like I've been running my whole life, always trying to escape something. And she says he had to in order to survive. And that's where he's like, I'm afraid that even if I get home, I'm still going to want to run again. And she says, well, maybe you won't. I mean, I think this is kind of why they're showing those flashbacks. It's just irrelevant. We don't need it.
Well, and like so they're saying like being abused and running away from home has made him a runner. That doesn't jive with what I've really seen from this character. I told you in our chat earlier that in the beginning when he says, why did I even leave? Why did I leave? Why didn't I stay? Why didn't I come back when I had the chance? And that's when I was getting like a Wizard of Oz vibe at the end of the movie where Dorothy says like, I've learned that if I ever go looking for my heart's desire, I should not look further than my own backyard, because if it's not there, I never lost it, kind of like no place like home kind of business, which I was getting that real vibe until Daryl goes off on this other thing. Like, I'm always running, my whole life I'm running. He has been like on The Walking Dead. Remember, he would like go out and live in the woods for like 2 months and then come back. And, you know, he's a little bit of a,
yeah. Well, she tells him that maybe he won't this time, and we hope that she's right.
It was a little bit of a lame response, but what do you say to that, right?
Yeah, she's like, well, maybe this time it'll be different. Is basically what she says. Well, she should say something. She should have said something like, you have people that care about you. You don't need to run away, or something like that. Would have been.
You have to go home and take care of Judith and RJ like you promised.
Yeah, there's that too. All right, so they're putting Fede in the prison, and his mother comes to give him food, and he's like, you don't want to lose a second son, do you? You don't have to. Let me out. And the dumb idiot, she's his mother. I guess I get it. She does tell him, though, you brought this on yourself, but then she proceeds to let him out. So, yeah.
I wish Samuel was here, because he has said every week, he says, this guy looks just like the governor from the comic books. And he acted very governory in this episode. But then when he got locked, I felt like this was like his Negan. Remember when Negan got locked up for 10 years on The Walking Dead, like locked up in the basement? I'm like, oh, this is going to be like Negan locked up forever. But no, they let his mother visit him with no guards present, and she lets him out.
Yeah, of course she does.
Like, why are there no guards being like, let's watch his mother, like, right?
Mm-hmm. And let's see, B says, letting him out made me so mad, took away all my happiness from her slapping him.
Yes, right? Yes. Yeah. Thank you, B. Yes.
You are correct. I agree. So yeah, he comes up to them and he says something like, you're going to turn into El Hueco.
But he says like this crazy, like typical
villainy thing.
Yes, like I commented to you that in our watch party that he's like a Bond villain. Like when he has the opportunity to kill Roberto, does he do it? No, he's like, let me have this elaborate scheme where I'll chain him to zombies and force his father to watch, and let me have this.
I'm sure he's not stopping to watch, and it's like to tell his whole plan, right?
Right, and like every one of his schemes has not worked out for the last 6 episodes. Like, just kill them, but no, you have to be a Bond villain and make a speech. And he comes down here and he's like, Daryl, like, you took everything from me. I had it so great till you showed up, which is typical of a villain to not recognize that.
It's also true.
You screwed yourself. Like Daryl, like, yes,
did screw him over. I mean, he's not wrong.
He screwed himself up, right? Like, was it ever gonna?
But we knew Daryl was.
It's like blaming other people for your poor management of your villainy. And then he gives a big speech, like allowing everybody to like, you want to kill Daryl? Sneak up on him. But you're like, I'm going to kill you and turn you into a zombie and make you walk the coastline until your flesh rots off your bones. I think he says something like that, right? Yeah. And didn't you want to be like, blah, 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 blah. There's no way you're shooting Daryl Dixon in the season finale.
Yeah, I know, right? So does he shoot the boat or is it just I'm trying to remember how it gets caught off.
He goes to shoot, and does Carol tackle him?
Carol like knocks it away or something or stops
and the bullet goes like in the boat and through the mattress of the bunk and sets it on fire, which this is the first time I've seen bullets like cause a fire just by flying around.
Yeah,
right?
Cause a fire I have a problem with. The boat blowing up, I'm assuming there's gasoline, so I have less problem with, but it actually catching on fire. Unless he like shot a lantern maybe and knocked it over. Why didn't they just let that happen?
I think a lot of modern sailboats have a small outboard engine that you use when there's no wind, right? And so, yes, there probably was some gasoline aboard.
Like how the fire started, I don't know. I thought maybe he shot a lantern out, but they just didn't show
that. And there were like 3 explosions, which I was like, gee, how much gasoline is on this boat?
Okay. That, I don't know if that was the one Daryl had for his motorcycle or not, but if you look close, because I can see, I don't know if you can tell us if I go.
Are those gas cans?
Kind of gas tank or gas can that he shot, and it's pouring gasoline out, and that's where the fire, that's why. Well, that's still why it blew up. That shouldn't make it catch on fire. I mean, I don't know that, is lighting gasoline with a bullet that easy? I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, look, movies it is.
It's actually it's not even gasoline. It's whatever they're making into gas in the future, right? Because they're not refining whatever fuel that is. That's not gasoline. It's whatever they're like refining. We don't even know. Like we've seen them use zombies to make methane. We've seen them use like whatever it is. I guess they needed fuel for whatever kind of outboard engine they have on the sailboat that they would use. I mean, you could not go across the entire ocean under motor power. You have to sail, but sailboats do have a little motor, right? A little engine, a little like propellery thing.
Yeah. Either way, it goes boom.
It was kind of ridiculous, the amount of explosions that came out of this little sailboat, but it was devastating to Daryl. And I don't know if you've got the shot, but Carol in particular, like Melissa, what's her last name? Melissa
Bride. There's the
McBride is very, she looks really, I mean,
they look there.
Look at her. She looks like she's going to cry. She looks like she's going to cry right there, right?
No, not again. Yeah, they'll find a way back, I guess. But Cadrone sees the explosion from wherever he's at.
And he probably is like, oh, explosions, I bet Daryl Dixon's around.
Yeah. It's a good guess if he thinks that. All right. Well,
How did you feel at the end? How did you? I mean, we said we don't really feel like it's a cliffhanger, right?
Yeah, I think they just filmed season 3 and 4 and said we're going to split it here, and I don't know why they did. I really don't like where they split it particularly.
I guess this was to be expected, like maybe not the boat exploding, but we know that the next season is filmed in Spain, and so we know they're not getting out of Spain.
Yeah, I had forgotten that. I assumed they would get off on the boat, but yeah, you're right. We do know that. But they still could have had them like almost get out on the boat and then like had it so you didn't know what happened and then did that at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, or get in a boat and be like, oh, we can't sail. Now we wound up in some other part of Spain, right? Like,
yeah. Or ended with it before they got to the boat. Of them, like, couldn't they just have ended it with them on the way to the boat?
Yeah.
But, yeah, at least it wasn't a huge cliffhanger. I
mean,
think that was better, but
where they are in Spain, I mean, to go to Barcelona, they had to like almost cross the country, right? Because coming from England, they could not. They coming from England, they couldn't get on the like Balearic side, right? Where they washed up was on like the north coast of Spain.
Yeah, but he somehow traveled pretty fast to Barcelona, but that's what happens.
That's what happens. And then back, like Barcelona's on the sea on the other side, and then they got back, you know. But we knew they weren't gonna. We knew they're not gonna get out because we know that they do not. We know that they were shot in Spain next season, and Spain is not sitting in for Ohio, right? I would like to see them at sea. Like I wouldn't mind seeing.
Pieces. Honestly, I think they just wanted to drag off the spinoff another year, but they did film seasons 3 and 4 consecutively.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have rather seen a separate story next season, especially because I didn't love the story as it was.
Well, I wonder if they're going to be stuck like near El Solaz. Are they going to stay where they are and look for a boat? Or are they going to be like, we need to drive to another part of Spain and look for boats, right? Like, are they going to stay in this general neighborhood or are they going to move? I don't know.
Maybe I don't know, but they have to get a boat from somewhere, right?
And there's like no story. They already destroyed, like Solaz is like saved or whatever. Like they're not going to stay, right?
Well, I mean, what I was going to ask you, because I'm trying to remember, did it show what happened to him? Did Daryl shoot him? Kill him?
Shoot who?
Fede. Did he get shot and killed or no? Or we don't know?
I don't know, but maybe I wasn't paying attention.
Well, because I'm just wondering, like, are they going to have a battle with him or is that part done? Because you're saying like the town's saved. The town's not saved if he's still running it, but I don't think anybody will let him run it. I think if he goes back, they'll run him out of town anyway.
I think that Fede is, he must be dead, right?
I don't know. I mean, he shot the boat and then they showed everybody's reactions. I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
Looks like Fede was just knocked out to me. Hi, Kelly. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that it matters. I just kind of questioned and wondered. Because I wonder that he couldn't take the town back over by force, by fear. I mean, they were letting him run it, and whenever they found out the truth, they're like, no, not anymore. But he could still take it over by force.
Yeah.
B says, I thought he died, but I watched a few reactors and they all talked about him still being alive. I don't think they showed one way or another, honestly. I don't think they showed it.
I guess. I was reading Eric Kane, who covers the show for Forbes, and he said Fede just probably saved all their lives because do we believe that they're capable of sailing across the Atlantic Ocean back to America? He probably saved them
at some point.
He probably saved them. He probably saved them from drowning, right?
Yeah. Well, they're going to have to get another boat or a ship or sail or fly or something. I mean, they're going to have to get back to America. I would hope before the series over. I mean, do they have to? No, they could decide to stay in Spain. I just hope they don't. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, Jamie, for the season and B and Kelly and whoever, I mean, I think overall, I mean, I like I like the show. This show has the highest production value of probably the entire franchise, right? Like I love the sets, I love the scenery, I love the locations. The cinematography is great. I love their commitment to like almost like sepia tones, their commitment to a color palette. Um McBride and Reedus are, I mean, we just love them and they're great, right? They're both very like command our attention. Um, there are some story things that get a little lazy here and there that bother me, right? And some characters that I don't love, but like I generally just don't like the idea of like the lottery was maybe not the greatest.
Yeah, it seems
storyline, right?
B said there's a lot of talk about Rick saving them in a CRM helicopter. That's silly, but it's something many folks are speculating. I'm not sure a helicopter could travel all the way there, but then again, it's Walking Dead, so yeah, it could.
Yeah, I don't see Rick coming to Europe. Like Rick would have to be randomly in Europe and save them.
Yeah,
like,
I don't. Could that happen if they got closer? Potentially. I just don't know that they're going to cross the two shows over. I would like to see that. I said that before. I would like to see Daryl finally find out Rick's alive.
I'd like to see Daryl.
That's going to happen.
I'd like
not unless they make another spinoff or another season of The Ones Who Live.
I would like this show to end with Daryl going home to the Commonwealth and finding Rick there. And that would be like this, like Daryl's speech in this episode about how he always feels he's looking for something and has to leave. Like, would he find his brother at home and be able to finally stay?
Yeah. And I would be okay with that ending. I don't know that they're intending to end all the shows. Obviously, Daryl is going to end after 4. They've said that. Do they intend to make another spinoff with more characters? Do they intend to continue The Ones Who Live and they, decided to do that? I don't know, but I could be okay with it ending there. I would be fine with that. Kelly says, yes, I would like that too. I just don't know. Like I said, I don't know that Walking Dead's going to end anytime soon as a franchise.
I mean, I agree with you, Jane.
I don't think they're going to do. I can't see them suddenly doing a crossover though. Like I think if they're going to meet up, the only way I can see that happening is if Daryl and Carol make it back to the Commonwealth, and then in The Ones Who Live, Rick makes it back to the and Michonne make it back to the Commonwealth. Like, but I agree with what you said. I think that would be fine. I would be fine with that. B says if Ash made it, he could have told Rick they were in France. So even if a helicopter could make it, why would he look in France? Why? Yeah, he would look in France, not in
Spain. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's magic.
Yeah, and I just don't see the CRM being like expanding to Europe. They don't have control of the States yet, right? They're I don't really see that.
Yeah.
And The Ones Who Live, I don't want The Ones Who Live
who can do, but I doubt they're going to do a crossover. Yeah.
I don't want to see The Ones Who Live to continue. I didn't love that show that much. I did.
I'd like to see more of the CRM. That's why part of why
and with that said, I don't see AMC ending the franchise. I agree with you. If there's $1, there's more than $1 to be made out of this, right? Like I
think a lot of people are hoping that they continue the main series, and that's not going to happen. I don't think. I mean, could there be other spinoffs? Yes. Well,
those are all done.
I don't see it. And yeah, you're right, B, Spain, but I thought you meant France because Ash would have told him look in France, not Spain. He'd have no reason.
Well, yeah, because B said so. Then why would he look in France? She meant why would he look in Spain?
Okay, I read it wrong.
Like why would he look in Spain if he thinks they're in France?
Yeah.
And it's not like Europe's not that small, like, right? Like you don't just like go, let me just check while I'm here, let me check France. It's not like
I think kind of like if crossing from one country to another is like crossing from one state to another. I mean, it's not big like our country big, but
it's still big. It's not like, oh, I'm in Greenwich Village, let me just check Soho while I'm here.
Yeah, no, it's still big. It's just not as big as like going from, across the United States. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't see Rick coming on Daryl's show. I don't see that happening. Like if they're going to bring Rick into it, it's going to be on Rick's show because he's going to get paid big bucks to come back. I think.
I mean,
So
I
I
think
could see that happening on the ones who live if Daryl and Carol make it back to the Commonwealth. But then again, it may never happen. I just don't know. Or maybe they'll make a movie. Who knows? But I don't think this series is. I don't think the franchise is done yet. But I definitely do not think they're going to bring back the original series.
I mean, we know this show ends in season 4, right? This
particular show, yeah.
I want to see them at the Commonwealth, and I want to see. Of course, we can't because Judith is probably like a grown woman now. But I would like to see Daryl and Carol come back to the Commonwealth and to those kids, and yeah, maybe Rick's there, like we discussed, right? And that would, but really be a pin in the original franchise.
Yeah, which is probably not going to look. I mean, eventually, I kind of feel like eventually, don't they have to end it? But maybe not. I mean, who knows? Think of Doctor Who. It's been going on for how long? Although that's actually, deserves to go on, but that's a whole other issue.
B has a good comment.
Gimple said in an interview that he wants to keep Daryl and Carol's show to Daryl and Carol. That's why I don't think there'll be a crossover. Yeah, I could see maybe they'll do a Judas spinoff. Kelly says that could happen. I'd like that. That could be a good spinoff. The other thing is they could potentially. I was wondering, like I say, I don't think they're going to bring the series back, and I don't think they will. But they could do like a one-time movie. Like originally they had intended to do movies and do like a movie of the original. But I think part of the thing is it's never going to be like the flagship show because they're not going to get all the cast back. It's not going to be the same.
For me, one of the things about this franchise, a Judith spinoff would be great, right? Like to see her. Yeah. But I feel like a Judith spinoff as an adult would be a little more like if you've seen Station 11, like 15, 20 years in rebuilding society. It would be less about
now.
I mean, I could go for a show like, remember how when Fear the Walking Dead started, it also started on day one it was like an alternate, just other people starting from day one of the apocalypse and what they went through. Yeah, and to me,
the start of the apocalypse and it never did. But
I mean, to me, some of the more interesting part of this is like the early days of the apocalypse and how people react and try to survive or whatever. And like to see people who are now 12 or more years in, it's a different, we talk about how the zombies are less of a threat. They're not that scary. Everybody's a great fighter. And like, it's more about what society becomes, how you rebuild. That's a really different thing that I'm not sure is the core of what the show is good at. This franchise is good at, like, right? Yeah. Like good at this.
Yeah, I agree if they did it like a decade later, maybe, but it would have to be like a flash forward.
That's what Station 11 was. Station 11, that's what it's called, right? On HBO. It's based on a book, and it's about a pandemic.
No original time, though, I know, right?
There
was no show that came before it, though, right?
Station 11?
Yeah.
No, but Station 11, it starts, it's the beginning of the pandemic breaks out, and it's all through that. And then there's a time jump where the little girl is now like an adult. And there's a big divide between like what they call the pre-pandemic and the post-pandemic, much like the show, the people who remember before and the kids who grew up in it. And it's really very well done. It's a very different kind of a show than this. And could this franchise do that well? I'd love to do the spinoff. Maybe they'd have to get a different. I mean, we saw the spinoff about children, and The World Beyond was not.
Yeah, that.
If I rank all the shows, it's not at the top of my list, right?
I don't know. I'd like to see more of the CRM. That's the part of World Beyond I liked. That's the main part of The One Who Lived I liked. I would like them to do a CRM series and then maybe have some stuff wrap up. But yeah, I don't know. It's just hard to tell. But I agree with you. It would be a different show. And the thing that stinks is Fear was supposed to be the beginning and how it started, and we never got that. It just became another Walking Dead.
We did early on. The first season was very much. The second season was very much
at the very beginning, but it was no more at the beginning than this series was, than the regular series was. Like I thought, Yeah, but like it moved very quickly through the time. Like I would have liked it to have been a series that like the whole series was like the first year after the apocalypse, like as opposed to like it catching up. Like that to me wasn't what it was supposed to be.
I guess.
And we still don't know why it started really. But we may never know that. So
What I don't like, or the reason I'm not interested in a CRM spinoff, is because, excuse me, everything we've seen in the CRM has been set up to be a very not cool organization. And like, I don't know how you make it, from what I know of the CRM, how do you have a hero and protagonists and characters who are really like the CRM, the CRM is,
but it could be continuing them fighting it or them changing it or whatever. That's why I said like the ones who live at least like about them fighting the CRM the way it was.
I guess, but that is fundamentally not a zombie story. That's like a political story.
It is, I guess, but I don't know. I found that mystery part of it when we were trying to learn about it. I thought was kind of interesting. And I'd like more about that and the experiments and that kind of side of it. But it doesn't matter. I don't think we're gonna get it. I'm just But yeah.
All right. Well, so during the show, as it aired on AMC tonight, there was there was no behind the scenes blurb tonight, right? But there was this little like 30-second like Daryl Dixon returning in 2026, and it was a little blurb that was like it showed like Reedus and McBride like shooting a couple things. You could see cameraman, and it was just a little it didn't reveal anything. It was just like a little teaser that showed them shooting, and it said coming in 2026, which the good thing about that is it's not coming in 2027, right?
Yeah, that's true. It just seems like everything is coming in 2026, doesn't it? But yeah, that's a good point. Better 2026 than 2027.
Yeah. So that was all we got from that tonight.
Yeah. Well, but Talamasca is coming. We just need to decide what day of the week we're going to do our Talamasca show. And we'll also be covering it on Fandom Access when AJ's here. But
and for those of you who don't know Talamasca, it's a spinoff of Interview with the Vampire. But I don't think you need to have read or watched very much because the Talamasca is not mentioned very much in the novels. It's sort of a Talamasca is sort of a,
and it's a lot better than Mayfair Witches was.
I mean, it's fine.
It's not the best.
It's under. You don't need to. Maybe. I mean, I think everybody should watch Interview with the Vampire and AMC because it's good, but you don't really need to watch that to watch Talamasca.
Right. Yeah, it's different, but it's good. But we'll be covering that, and like I said, AJ and Karen and I will be reviewing it on Tuesdays, but we're gonna have more of a dive show another day during the week with Scarlett and see how that goes, and maybe some other stuff. I don't know. We'll see. I need to.
Yep.
We're gonna try to get some more stuff going.
All right.
That's it. Please join us again Tuesday.
Yep. And if you have not done it, like and subscribe, please.
Subscribe to sci-fivision and check out all our videos and our previous lives on the channel.
And check out sci-fivision on Discord, right?
Yes, on Discord, and also scifivision.com, where you can see all the interviews, including the ones that maybe aren't on video. There's some other stuff.
Yep, written interviews and maybe some new ones. Yep.
Yes, and there'll be new stuff coming out. Yep.
All right, cool.
All righty, everybody. Have a good thanks, B. Thanks, everybody, for coming. We hope you enjoyed it. I know we got some more people on Twitch this week. Hopefully they were real people, the majority of them. But yeah, so thanks for coming, and thanks for coming live. We appreciate the people that come to the chat and interact with us, because I know we seem to get more people that watch it after the fact, but
that's cool also. But yeah,
yes, but we appreciate the live comments as well.
Yep.
All righty, everybody. Yep. See you Tuesday.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.